Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Oxy and today I'm doing the episode number 4 of how I lost my mother. If you didn't watch previous episodes in this series, I've been talking about how everything was going when we found out that my mother has a cancer. And the thing is that usually I would have a trigger warning, and this is actually the second time I re-record the episode number 4 and number 5 because I didn't like how they turned out. And usually I would have a script. Today I decided not to have a script and just talk from my heart. So let us start with the trigger warning. That's going to be a little different this time. Let's get into it. So the reason why this trigger warning exists is because on the YouTube, on social media, people rarely talking about their story, how they're going through the loss, and especially someone who is talking from the perspective of a young person like me. When everything started, I was still a teenager, and then the death was when I was 20 years old. And because of that, I feel like people can reflect with that. And I highly recommend this to watch for someone who's going through the same thing. But at the same time, if you lost a person like recently, I wouldn't recommend this to watch. I would save it and watch it later, just because I don't want to trigger anyone's feelings. And also, this trigger warning was made for letting you know that the comment section under this video is not available. There's few reasons for that. I am traumatized and I don't want any bad comments or whatever. And for those people who want to reach out with a story, I'm going to leave the email in the description box so you're not going to be left alone. And let us start with the video. I would like to start with my beliefs, okay? In the first episode, I said that doctor said that there's going to be like approximately 9 months or a year, the best case scenario, a year that my mother will have here with everyone. And when it was my birthday, I was like, fuck it. Like, she literally doesn't feel the best way and blah, blah, blah. But throughout this whole time, I never had a thought that, yeah, she is passing away. Like, I never understood cancer as a process of passing away. You know, they say that there is 7 minutes after the death when the brain still works. And I would say that cancer is basically the same thing. That is just the process that takes time before a person passed away. And I always did believe that my mother will heal. I never had this idea that she will pass away. Like, I never understood it as this concept, you know. But at the same time, I have a memory loss right now. And this is so painful to understand because my memory is something that I really was proud of for my whole lifetime. I've been remembering things from really early age and blah, blah, blah. And when the situation happened, a funeral happened, everything happened. Everything just started to fade away. And right now it's really hard to explain and talk what was when this happened, and blah, blah, blah. So the thing is that because I didn't have this idea of my mother is passing away, sometimes understanding this hit you and you just can't help yourself. And what I mean is that everything is all right and my mother is kind of feeling good. And then when you go into bed, you're just like, oh my God, like she has a cancer, you know? Also, I don't remember if I said it in the episode that's not gonna come up on the YouTube, or I already said that in episodes that are released, but cancer has a smell. I don't know if only I was able to smell it, but I guess that it's just smell of cancer because I did smell it somewhere else. And there is like a few aspects of this disease. I don't know. So nobody knows what to do in situations like this. You know what I mean? Like, we never been in the situations when you have to prepare yourself for the death of a person you love the most, or for the parents, for sister, for brother, for the best friends. We never know. We are never prepared, and you can't prepare yourself. Never. And what I was trying to do, to spend as much time as I can with my mother. Having walks in the morning was the best thing, because it was so calm. The city was sleeping, and we would just walk to grab some coffee, and walk for a little more. And it was kind of a therapy for her, because it was really necessary for her to walk, because most of the time of the day she was in bed. I know that I said really wise things in the episode that is not going to be released, but I really like how I explain things there, so maybe I will put this clip in here. But if it's not editable, I'll try to explain it in my own way right now. So the thing is that it's hard, right? That a person is passing away, or the death is near. You have to have your life. This is what my mother was telling me the whole time. Like, you have your own life. You have to prioritize your life. You can't live for me. You can't die for me. And having own life is something that she really wanted for me, because like, maybe now I see this as a problem, that I was really close with my mother. I guess maybe that's a problem that's still hurts me like that much, but at some reason, like, I find it normal, like, to be close with your parents and love your parents. But because of that, because she wants me to live my life and everything that comes with it, I was trying to live my life. I got a job. I was doing boxing. I was trying to do different things. And for some reason, it felt like everything is normal. Like, I'm going through my gallery and I'm just like, that was like, when that was happening, everything was all right. And yeah, from day to day, my mother could not feel good. Another day she would feel better. And it was just life. It was just process, because she didn't get treatment. She was healing herself, and that's something that we had to accept as a family. And I was already living in Omsk. I can't remember if I said it, but at this time period, because the war started, I was trying to find my way out from Russia, because I don't want to go into politics right now, and I hope that's understandable. And I hope that you also understand that it has nothing to do with my mother. I didn't try to run away from problems or anything. I was just trying to have my life, what my mother wanted for me. And I was fucking notifications. I was trying to apply for the UK visa. I was applying to unis in the UK. And when all of that got fucked up, and I was like, okay, like, seems like I don't have a way out from Russia. And then I found a way out, and I started to get ready for this way out. So it was approximately April, and then May, my birthday. And I don't know, I like, sometimes when I'm remembering the whole like 2 years, uh, I'm thinking like, I wish I knew, I wish I knew how everything would turn out, or something. Because when I was turning 20, it was the last birthday when I had it with my mother. And like, you will never be able to predict if that's the last or it's not the last. And my mother is a person who always will write letters to you and say it in the best way possible to wish you something. And this birthday, she did it as well. And we had like a family dinner, nothing fancy. And I'm happy we had it. I'm happy we had it. It was the summer 2023. And in July, my sister came to town and we had a good time. And my mom was crying. She told me that she didn't know if she will make it to my sister's visit. Because at the time, my sister already immigrated from Russia. And she was really happy that she was still alive to meet her daughter. We had a good time. We spent it in Omsk, and then me and my sister, we went to do something in Moscow, and then we spent time also with our dad in Moscow, and then we came back to Omsk, where we have a few more days more, and it was my dad's birthday, and this is what happened. So my mother started to feel better, I would say from New Year of 2023 or something like that time approximately. I moved back in January, okay, and yeah, from day to day the situation would be different. Like, she would feel better, she would feel worse, and blah blah blah, but mostly she would feel way better than she did in May 2022 or something. Okay, and because of that, she was feeling really, really good. She was like, let me get tested. And because I know my mother, that she will try to avoid telling us what is actually going on, I was like, I'm going with you. Like, there is no other option. I'm coming with you to the hospital. And we went for this checkup, and I was in the same room as her and the doctor, and it was the doctor that was with her throughout this time. And she said, if I didn't know your diagnosis, or like that you have a cancer, basically, I wouldn't be able to say right now. And the thing is that when she found out she had a cancer, my mother, cancer cells, they were in every organ of abdomen system, like in your belly. Every organ had brain cells, cancer cells, my god. And turned out with this thingy that she doesn't have them anymore. And for me, it was like a miracle. I didn't believe it. I was like, what the hell? Is that even possible? And I didn't have happiness or anything. I was just shocked. I guess it was just shock. But yeah, turned out that it was remission, if I'm correct in here. And I was so happy. I was so happy because I heard that doctor said that my mother is fully healed. You know, I knew she wasn't fully healed because her cancer was in the thingy that can't be checked on this Uzi thingy, ultrasound. So it could be checked only if you have this tube that you have to put there, blah blah blah. or if they would take a piece of tissue inside her. That how we will know if she was fully healed. But we didn't do that. We did only ultrasound. And my mother didn't tell my dad about that. She told him a few days later, after his birthday, maybe like even weeks after his birthday. And I was kind of agree with my mother not telling my dad, because don't get me wrong, I love my dad. But like there is a personal situations and I don't want to disclose it. So the thing is that my sister is leaving. She left in August, and my dad also left. So it was the night. I went to the shower. I was sleeping on the couch at the time, okay? And I don't like, a few days before she started feeling worse. She told my dad. So a few days she was feeling worse than she would usually feel. And my dad left and she wasn't feeling good. And we had this day where we have a hockey team and I wanted to go there. And I was like, you want to go with me? She was like, yeah. So we went there and we were passing by the coffee shop and she was like, oh, I'm going to take this. And this drink is kind of sort of a frappuccino that you can find in Starbucks with a lot of ice. And when we were walking to the space, she was holding like this, and her skin tone was grayish and she was just so angry. And it's not the anger that turns into aggression towards you. You can just tell that the person not pissed off, but he's just not doing well, if you know what I mean. And I was trying to make her feeling better or make her laugh or anything, and she just left home. And when I came back, I can't remember if we came back together. I feel like we did come back together. There is a dog, don't mind it, I'm sorry, it's not my dog, I can't do anything with it. So at home, she went to bed, and because I have a problem with memory, I guess that she went to bed to sleep, and then we had a dinner and she went to bed for the night. I went to the shower approximately 2 a.m. I can't fall asleep, and I remember that we agreed that my grandma is gonna come over in the morning to help us, because my mother wasn't feeling good for the last 3 days or something. So I can't fall asleep, and I went to bed at 2 a.m. and I was on my phone for a couple of hours, and then I was like, okay, it's time to sleep. And I remember like it was deep in the night, and you know this moment when you can feel that you are not fully asleep but you're still not awake. So it was kind of this feeling. What the hell is going on? So I cannot remember the exact time everything started to happen, but it was around 4-5 a.m. I guess. And I'm waking up from the doorbell, but it's not a doorbell technically. And I was like, for fuck's sake, why my grandma would come that early? Because I can see darkness outside. There's no sunrise. And it was summer. Like, it would be really early. And the thing is that, like, I cannot see the darkness because I didn't open my eyes yet. So I just can feel that it's darkness there. And then a few minutes passing by. And the door opens. And I hear a male voice. And that's the moment when you just, like, automatically, you get up from the bed and you're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And I put in any clothes on me. and I'm going to my mom's room, and I see that ambulance came. Okay. And I was like, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? And there was the bin where I saw blood. And I was like, what is going on? And it turned out that my mother has inside internal bleeding. And they were taking her to the hospital. Like, she have an internal bleeding, got herself ready to go to the hospital. She prepared like a bag, a plastic bag with a towel, with things for just for leaving in hospital, a bag with important things like insurance, passports, phone, and blah blah blah. And she was like, don't worry, everything is all right. She is a doctor, like, she knows everything, and she's trying to calm me down, or I don't know. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm going with you, like, there is no other option. And I'm taking all of this stuff. They're taking her downstairs to the ambulance car, and we're going there together, and I'm sitting there completely lost, like, I'm losing my mind. I don't understand what is going on. And I don't know how to explain that, because like, I would think that that is the moment when my mother is passing away, you know. And I'm thinking, like, is that the moment? Is that like, what the fuck is going on? And you don't have this time to think, because only thing you have is emotions. And we are being in this ambulance, and everyone is so like, they don't show any emotions, because for doctors is a normal thing, I guess, and they just got used to that. They don't panic, they don't feel anything about the person you care the most. So we come into this hospital, and they're taking her somewhere, and I was told to get bags and go to the registration office to, like, check her in. And I was doing that, and then I was trying to find my mother, and I found her laying on this thing that you can transport from one place to another. And then they're taking her to the room, and 5 minutes passing, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And I'm knocking there because I'm freaking out. I don't know what's going on. I'm coming there, and it's a nighttime, August, the end of August, okay? And she is there, she's laying on this thing to transport from one place to another, completely naked. Under her, there is nothing. There is no blanket, there is, like, nothing. And on top of her is just bed topping. Not bed topping, like just the fabric, just a piece of fabric, and nothing more. And I was already standing there freezing, having a clothes on. And she was like, don't worry, everything's all right, everything's all right. And for fuck's sake, there was a doctor who opened the history of her healing or anything. That's how we say this in Russia. I don't know how to say it in English. And he was like, so little girl, tell me, why didn't you try to do anything with the cancer? And I was like, what the fuck? He was talking trash to her. He was insulting her in a way that, bro, a grown-ass woman with an inside bleeding, she has no power to argue anything. She has nothing to say. And the worst thing is that I can't say nothing either, because you understand that it's 5 a.m. There is no one who can save your mother's life. You can't argue. You can't tell him shut up. What the fuck are you saying? How are you allowed to say things like that? And he was not saying this in a funny way or in any way that you would understand and respect. He was saying this in a way to insult or to hurt or anything. And I was completely lost in that situation because you don't know what to do. And there was a woman, she was taking care of her, and there was like, okay, we're taking her to emergency room. And at that time, I didn't know that in emergency rooms, there is nothing allowed. You can't take a phone with you. I can't come with her, nothing. And that was the moment when I was like, is she dying? I had this fucking bag with me and a backpack of hers, and I was lost. I was in this hall. They're taking her away. I'm following her to the elevator, and they was just like, no, you can't come. And I don't know if I should say last words to her, but in my mind, I didn't have this idea of her dying. Like I didn't think that she is passing away right now. I was just saying like, I love you. I hope that you know that I love you. Everything is going to be all right. And they had taken her to the emergency room, and I'm left alone with bags. And they told me that there is the room, the number of the room, just go there. And I was like, okay. I'm knocking there, and no one replies. I'm knocking again, same thing. And then I'm opening the door, and there was a woman who was sleeping on a desk. I'm sorry to bother. Like, I was told to bring these things here. My mother was taken to emergency room, and she was like, yeah, of course. Like, what is the name of your mother? Everything. And she was so polite and kind. She was the only person who was like, don't worry, everything is gonna be all right. Because everyone else was just so fucking rude. So I'm leaving this up there, and I don't know what to do. I have my phone with me, and I also took, like, I asked this woman, how can I find out the information about my mother? And she was like, yeah, like, take a picture of this. This is the phone of the information desk for emergency room. Just call there in the morning. I was like, okay, fine. So I left this room, and I was sitting there, and I went outside. I was calling my dad the whole time. He wasn't available. I was calling my sister. No one did reply. And that was the moment when I was like, for fuck's sake, I'm an adult or what? Like, I don't know. I feel like that was the moment when I was like, okay, I guess now I have to figure out things. So my dad replied with like 30 minutes or something, and he was like, everything is gonna be okay, just don't worry. And I remember how I went outside, and the thing is that I don't know where the emergency room are located in the building, but like that was the part where it came in, and they took the elevator, and somehow I guess this elevator brings you to a certain floor, and then you go here, because there was like a place for walking if you're outside. There was a gap between the first floor and like the third floor, so there was like a place where I could sit, and I was sitting there. I was on the phone with my sister, and she was with her husband at the moment, and I was only thing I was trying to like have something in my mind except the idea or understand what is going on. And I like, she passed the phone to her husband, and I was like, like, can you please describe like what you saw today? Like, how is the nature and everything? And he was sitting there, like I was sitting there looking at the sunrise and having no idea what should I do. I can't go to the emergency room. I can't go home. So I called my dad if I can take a car because I was too scared to order a taxi because Omsk is like interesting place. And he was like, yeah, of course. And he was like, call your grandma and solve the situation together. I was like, all right. So I came back home. My grandma came to our apartment. I didn't fall asleep that night. I was waiting for the moment as the front desk starts to work. And I started to call and there was like no information. Oh my god. And I asked them what time family members are allowed to visit, and they told me the time, and I came there, and then turned out that there's no information and I can't visit her. And the thing is that I brought her pillow that she's comfortable to sleep with because she was so slim and her bones were literally out there, and she was falling asleep with a big splashy. And I took her with me. I took other things that might cheer her up or anything like that. And I was coming and going there, and I couldn't understand anything. I also, not only my grandma knew, I guess that she called my aunt, my mother's sister. And when we came back from the hospital with zero information, she was like, why is your dad not doing anything? And I was like, I don't know. Because my other aunt, she's also a doctor. She works in the same city, but in another hospital. And my dad talked to her, and she was trying to find out information by contacting a doctor who works in that hospital. So my dad kind of was doing a thing, but yeah. And she was screaming at me like, go and talk to this person. And I was like, I never talked to this person. Like, I don't know. And I texted this person explaining the situation. And as it turned out, he helped so much. He made it possible that they would give my mother a better bed or something like this, like mattress, because beds in Russian hospitals, they are not the best. They gave her like a better quality or something, like bedding. And as my mother said later, it really helped her. So at the front desk, they were saying that she's still unconscious. And probably the next day, she was conscious. Or it was 3 days when she was unconscious or something like this. So the thing is that they were giving us zero information. And I was like, okay, who's her doctor? And they told me who's her doctor. And I found the room where he is working, and they told me that he is at the surgery right now. He can't talk. I was like, okay, fine. And I was waiting there. We eventually waited there for like 2 hours. And I was like, fuck it. Like, I can't wait anymore. Like, I don't know for how long it's going to take. And I asked my grandma was also there, if she has a pen and sheet of paper. And my grandma, she was like, no, I don't. And then I was like, my mother always has it. and I had her back with me, and I took a pen and a piece of paper from there, and I wrote like, I've been waiting here for this long. I'm the daughter of the name of my mother. And I was like, can you please contact me, my number, because I can't get any information. So I put it in the on the door. They have the name of the doctor, and I just put it in there, hoping that he would see that and take it. So we came back home. And the thing is that when you're in the hospital, it's really old hospital, and you see different people there, and the smell there, and everything there, and you just see these people. At some point, you understand that you are privileged, and at some point, you see life and death. Like, I saw so many people there. Like, I don't know, every time I'm seeing people in certain conditions, I'm just like, I appreciate this life. Love this life, girl. Like, it's so hard. I don't know. It's just... And you see people who's working there, and they're trying to keep up with life, having this job and everything. Like, there is so many things to talk about Russian system, about how everything is working. That's the reason why it hurts so much. But anyways, so because I didn't sleep the night when everything was happening, and the next night I fall asleep after we came back home, and I fall asleep like I was still waiting for the call. And I fall asleep like for 30 minutes, and I put on the loudest my phone, and I woke up from the call, unknown number, and I was like, please, let it be the doctor. Picking up the phone, he was like, yeah, hello. It was a doctor, and he said that she's conscious, she's weak, but we are working on that she's feeling better. And I was like, when can I see her? And there was no information. But long story short, I saw her after 3 days, her being in the hospital. And the thing is that the worst thing is that my biggest fear was that I will come in the room where she is, and I will see the same person as I saw when it was May, June time, when she felt the worst way. That she would say, I don't want to leave, that's the end. Like, finito, halas. Like, she just doesn't have the power to leave, a will to leave anything. And I remember when it was the time to come in, it was the exact room next to what I was standing when I was waiting for a doctor, and I saw this many people with different things, and I didn't know that my mother would eventually be in that room. But I'm coming there scared that I would see this person. When I see my mother, I was just like, and she's smiling. I was like, whoo. And at the same second she starts to talk, I'm just like, she is happy. She is doing all right. And she told me one thing. She told me that I feel like because she lost a lot of blood and the light came off, she told me that she's feeling like the blood that she received from the donor, that the donor still loves this life so much, and I feel like this blood made me feel the same way. And I was like, thanks God, thanks God. I feel like it's been a long video and I should finish it here, but this is not the end of the story. So I will come back to you very soon. Thanks for watching. If you have things to say, share your story or anything, I have the email in the description box, so I'll be waiting for you there. If you have a person to share this video with who is going through the same thing or anything, share. Maybe it will help. I'll be happy if that will help. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Hope you well. Love you. Bye.